Hi, Kathleen Guire here. Welcome to Trauma-Informed Parenting. I've been doing a series on a freebie that I have on my website. It's a PDF that you can download, How to Have Peace When Your Kids Are in Chaos. And I talked about reframing our beliefs. So if you missed that one, go back and catch that one. But what I used to think was going to work with changing my children's behavior because they had trauma histories. And these behaviors were coming out was learn the science, apply the science, and have more peace in my home. But it wasn't working. And what I learned was because I had a trauma history myself, that their triggers and my triggers were in a trigger war. And the biggest part of the chaos was, I hate to admit it, but it was me. I needed to work on some things first. So what I learned really works is first reframing our beliefs, making sense of and peace with our past, then learning the science and applying the science. And then the behaviors are going to change. Mine first, and then our kiddos, and then there's more peace in the home. So last time, like I said, I talked about reframing your beliefs. Now you can get this PDF on traumainformedparenting.com if you want to go grab yours right now. I'll also link it in the notes below. Making sense of and peace with our past is something we don't really want to talk about, right? Because as parents, sometimes we think the way that we were parented or what went on in our past is just like it's a book, like back here on my bookshelf. We're just going to leave it there. I don't need to address that anymore because now I'm an adult, I'm a parent, and I'm going to parent the way that I think is best. And yes, we need to have that attitude that we're going to parent the way that we think is best. But if we don't make sense of and peace with our past, then those triggers are going to keep coming up. And then we're going to keep operating in that past. Because what happens when you have a trigger? Maybe it's a smell. It could be a good trigger or a bad trigger. Maybe you smell apple pie and you think of your Aunt Mary being there at Thanksgiving and she always made apple pie. Or maybe you smell apple pie and it reminds you of a time that you were being abused. Or maybe it's a series of words, or maybe it's talking back, or maybe there's just a very long list of things. And I challenge you this week to just start thinking about the things that trigger you that your children do and how they're linked to your past. And ask yourself in those moments, am I parenting in the present or is my past parenting my children? Now, honestly, I know you can't just watch this video and say, okay, I did it. I made sense of and peace with my past. I recommend that, especially if you have a lot of issues that are really triggering you on a daily basis with a frequency and severity that's impeding your life and your parenting and your connection with people, that you find a therapist or a counselor, find someone to help you work through that. And if you're going to just start working through some things at home by yourself, that you buy a journal and you just start writing it down. It is such a good therapy to write it down. And if there's some things that you write down and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe all that came out of me. I don't want anyone to ever see that, then throw it away. So it's a beginning. If you're watching this video and you're like, I've never even thought about that before. Like, is my past parenting my children or am I in the present? Because we cannot be fully present with our children until we make sense of and peace with our past. So I encourage you to start working on that today. And even as soon as you stop this video, if you just grab a journal, grab a notebook, grab anything, just start, or your computer, and just start typing. You may have some triggers coming to mind right now that you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that I'm responding to my children because way back in the day, that's how my parents were responding to me. So just to review, we have to reframe our beliefs. We have to make sense of and peace with our past. Then we can learn the science, apply the science, change the behaviors, ours first, and then we will have more peace in our home. So thanks for joining me today.